Hi, you should be able to see an SR latch that I have built on Multisim on the screen. And uh, basically, it's the same circuit that we looked at in the previous video, right? We are looking at Q and Q bar at the outputs, and you are looking at R and S at the inputs. Now, if R and S are 1, 1, you can see that the outputs Q and Q bar both are 0, 0. If I make R equal to 0 and S equal to 1, you get Q equal to 1, Q bar equal to 0. And similarly, if I make R equal to 1 and S equal to 0, you get 0, 1. And to this extent, this circuit looks like a combinational circuit, right? So if I have 1, 1, the output is always 0, 0. It doesn't matter what the previous inputs are. And if the inputs is 0, 1, the output is going to be 1, 0. It doesn't matter what the previous inputs are. And similarly, the case for 1, 0 as well, the output is always going to be 0, 1. But now notice what happens. Now if I have 1, 0 and Q and Q bar have the values of 0, 1, and I go to the state 0, 0, what's the output? The output is the same. It is maintained at 0, 1, right? Now let's go back and let's go to the state 0, 1. So now Q is 1 and Q bar is 0. Now Q is 1, okay? And you go to 0, 0, what do you get? Q is still 1 and Q bar is still 0. Let's make R 1 again. If you make R 1, Q is 0 and you go back to 0, 0, Q is still 0 and 1. So the values, the outputs when R and S are 0, 0 depends on what have you exerted before this step, right? If you have put in 1, 0, right? If you have put in 1, 0 and then you go back to 0, 0, then your output is what corresponded to 1, 0 as the inputs. And if you go from the inputs 0, 1 to 0, 0, the outputs will correspond to the state 0, 1. So can you see that this is acting as a kind of a memory? So this is how the SR latch kind of introduces a memory. Now there is a reason why we call this input R and why we call this input S, right? S stands for set. So whenever S becomes 1, the output is set. That is, it becomes equal to 1. Okay. When R refers to reset. So whenever R is 1 and the set is 0, then the output is reset. That is, Q becomes equal to 0. Now Q bar in the ordinary functioning of the latch is going to be the negative of Q. Okay, and you can see that that is true for all states except when R and S both are equal to 1. In this case, Q and Q bar are not opposites of each other. So in one sense, the state 1, 1 is not allowed in the SR latch. I will leave a link for this SR latch below this video, and you can just explore it and play around with it so that you understand it better.